should just do a rap, like just like Dragon Ball Z, just off the dome, like because you be doing it all the time. She'll be like Dragon Ball Z.
I've never said anything about Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z.
Shorty.
All I know is Hadouken. Is that even from Dragon Ball Z?
That's Tekken.
Whatever.
Street Fighter.
Whatever, exactly.
Really? Hadouken.
Hadouken is Street Fighter, bro.
Shit, well, damn.
You're watching Anime Sundays.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Anime Sundays, the show where we talk about anime on, yes, Sundays. And we are down in that room. A special guest here, Justin Newell.
What's up, y'all? Thanks for having me back.
You know, he's a recurring guest. You can follow him. The tag will be there at Just for Thought. It was just his birthday recently. Y'all go ahead and wish him a happy birthday. Alright, so today we have come back to continue the top 5 arc series in the main shonen animes, but this time we decided we're going to even reduce the top echelon arcs to the top 3 arcs in DBZ.
Hey.
Fuck you.
You're going to love this. Trust me. What you're seeing now is my normal state.
Yes, so as you see from my last video, the one before that, I had the top 5 arcs in One Piece, top 5 arcs in Naruto. Since it's both of us here, we're going to condense it a little bit and do our top 3 arcs in DBZ. A few parameters. We're going to try to stick away from old Dragon Ball. There's a handful of arcs in that show that are just takes a lot of time to dissect. So we're really going to only stick to DBZ and Dragon Ball Super, because as you know, Dragon Ball GT isn't technically canon, even though we could go into that a little bit. But we're going to still stick to Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. Just, since you're the guest, do you want to talk about your number 3 favorite arc?
If I had to pick one, number 3, yeah, I'm gonna keep it recent. I think the Tournament of Power is definitely a top 3 arc, but I'm gonna put it for number 3. In general, I just felt like Super was very low stakes. It felt more like regular Dragon Ball, right? I don't know if anybody really even dies like that besides what Goku back. So like, there wasn't, the stakes for me were just too low, the intensity was too low. But I felt like Tournament of Power was like, okay, if we don't win this, we will all like kind of perish. Again, like before, we don't even get a chance to see other universes until Goku, you know, died after the Android Saga, right? So this is the time we get to see the powers of other universes. We have like like time, right? We have love, you know, we have like kind of perseverance. So all these different sort of values and entities are now at play. Like what really is the strongest power that we have? And of course, like Jiren is now my favorite villain. So
I could definitely see the Tournament of Power taking its rank. A lot of people disagree with you. A lot of people say, you know, that Super is like, you know, hot garbage. I don't agree with that at all. I actually love Super as well for a lot of the similar reasons you mentioned. I mean, the Tournament of Power definitely brought a new hindsight to the whole DBZ world, right? We already knew it was already a bunch of planets, already a bunch of gods and kais and all this other stuff. But now we can see that there's even stuff on a multiversal level. And with that, different villains, stronger villains. And then even when you break it down to like the actual things that were happening in the Tournament of Power, you get to see the first women Super Saiyans ever fuse. People don't realize the history there. Frieza and Goku working together, beating Jiren. Gohan trying to make a statement that he's not trash. And then even stuff like Android 17. That was really one of my favorite moments. Android 17 came in and was putting in mad work. And then even those lower cats who people used to downplay, Roshi, Krillin, you know what I'm saying? They all had a good part to play.
Piccolo held it down.
Yeah, that's part to play. So it definitely expands the story, you know, because people always want to say DBZ don't have a good story. But I disagree. I think there's a lot of story there, especially in these tournament arcs. Real quick, my number 3. Personally, I'm going to have to give it to the Frieza saga. It was hard for me to pick this over my number 2, but it is an iconic, legendary saga. Frieza coming down, looking for the Dragon Balls. He wants to be immortal. And there's a lot going on. They're fighting on Namek. They're fighting the Ginyu Force. Gohan's unlocking potential. Krillin's unlocking potential. But I think what really like stuck out to me about the Frieza saga is they really introduced that phenomenal growth of like Goku and Vegeta, how they would just get their ass whooped, go back, get stronger, get their ass whooped, go back and get stronger. And they just kept climbing that ladder until like what seemed was impossible was actually like a serious problem for Frieza. And then, I mean, Frieza's just a great villain. Like, you know, arguably top 2, 3 in the show. He made Goku go to Super Saiyan. Like,
Came back every time.
Yeah, he's still alive now. Still alive now. I just don't have it in my top like 1 or 2 because it still was like the blueprint, almost like the basic arc. You know what I'm saying? It was like the basic bad guy. It was a little bit different from the Saiyan Saga because everybody kind of was on the same level. Frieza just kind of came in and just messed up the whole game, tore down everybody, and just really was like, yeah, I'm not really here to play around with y'all.
You made a point about like, they kept going back, got their ass whooped, came back, got your ass whooped. Then eventually, Super Saiyan. You gotta also look at like Toriyama's message there. Like transformation takes a long time. It takes a lot of failures. It takes a lot of getting your butt kicked. Then you get the big explosion, right? Secondly, I feel like the Frieza Saga is really aligned with like that sort of African diaspora story. Like RZA talked about that, you know, in Wu-Tang Clan. They talk about how much that Dragon Ball Z stories about these lost group of people who were sort of like eradicated. This kid was forced to go to another world, very much like going from Africa to the new world, right? He was stripped of all the knowledge. He knew that he came from a line of people that were powerful, right? Same I feel like black people came from a lot of people who were kings, right? And pharaohs, stripped of all of that, brought here to this new world, became sort of like an earthling, but eventually he was able to tap back into that power, overthrow the people that were oppressing his people. I didn't actually put the Frieza Saga in any of it, but just for that, it made me think of that.
I definitely see the messages there, definitely. All right, so let's go on to number 2. What do you have in number 2? I think you pretty much said we had the same one. What do you got?
Oh man, Majin Buu. The Majin Buu saga. And really, I'll argue that the Super Saiyan 3 transformation was the most iconic moment in all of anime. I said this. People ask me like, yo, how could you do 100 burpees in 4 miles? And like, I put the Super Saiyan 3 theme song, Extended Loop, bro. That's how you gotta work out, bro. Like, you in the middle of Super Saiyan 3, baby. Power it up.
I definitely can see it as top 3 or 4 transformations in terms of just iconicism. I actually think just plot-wise, it's one of the best written arcs. People always try to underrate DBZ's story, but like there's a lot going on in the Majin Buu saga, right? You have literally Buu itself as a character is some serious plot. He's an ancient entity, an ancient evil, and when he got summoned by Babidi, he was still somewhat pure. He was evil, but he was like mixed, right? But then evil Buu out of him, then he turns into Super Buu. And Super Buu has to go through all these other battles and trials to get to Kid Buu. So that already itself, like that one villain itself, without even being able to speak, has a lot of depth, right? Because Majin Buu can't speak. Then, if you really get into what's going on with your favorite characters, Goku's dead, right? He has to come back to life.
Goku's supposed to be there for a day. Yeah. That's the funniest part about the whole thing.
Yeah, he comes back for a day because he wants to participate in the tournament. And then you have Vegeta murdering people.
Coming out the woodwork.
Murdering people in the tournament because he wants Goku to fight him at full strength. And it's like, this is where we really get to the pinnacle of Vegeta's obsession with Goku, where he's like, yo, I will finally prove to this man I'm stronger than him. And then when he thinks he's stronger than him, he finally realizes that it really don't mean shit if your whole family's about to get murdered by an alien psychopath. Like you said earlier when we were talking, there's a crazy ton of fusions, right? The first time we're really seeing fusions.
Yeah.
Vegito, Gotenks.
Even the absorptions, right?
Yeah, the absorbed. Buu had 3 forms. There's a lot of conflicts. There's a lot of underlying messages. A lot of the big stuff too about the Buu saga is like, you know, the end. You know, Goku summoning Earth's strength, and they only did it because Vegeta had to like convince everybody on the planet to give Goku more power. Because Hercule was all like, yo, we need your help. And they were like, well, I don't fucking know this guy. Like, who is this guy?
You saw Vegeta. One of his greatest moments was when you said he just kept getting dogged, but he just kept getting up. That might be my favorite.
Yeah, he actually had Kid Buu shook, actually. He was like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? Like, he just won't die.
When Vegeta taps into being Vegeta and stops trying to be Goku, that is when hopefully the next arc we will finally see Vegeta become the #1 guy.
And I guess now for our last arc, #1 arc, I think we still also have the same saga. Have the Android Saga. this to me is definitely the most well-written story in the show of DBZ. Because any show that you watch with time travel and involve with time heavily, there's some big brain writing in there. Like, you really have to you really have to know what you're gonna do with this plot to just be having people go back and forth in time and for it to work out.
You have to logically map that out. Okay, they come back here and they do this, how's it gonna affect this?
Right.
You have to map that out correctly.
Personally, what hits me for this arc is the life of future Gohan and future Trunks as they're trying to survive in a post-apocalyptic world destroyed by the androids. Yeah. That to me is probably some of the most emotional and like tear-jerking stuff because there was no Dragon Balls, nobody's coming.
There was no father, bro.
Yeah, the androids came, killed everybody. It's literally Trunks, Gohan, and Bulma, and Gohan is literally carrying the future of the world on his back, like losing arms. He has to die so that Trunks can go Super Saiyan for the first time.
He had to die.
You know what I'm saying? And just so that he could give them more time for Bulma to get the little serum or whatever for the time machine. Everything was on the line for them.
Things have to happen. Looking at Gohan's dead body is what triggered the transformation, because there always has to be this sort of snap, like this emotional breakdown, mania, and that's usually how the transformation. You see it with Vegeta, he's in fucking space.
That alone has like made the plot of the arc so crazy, and then when you add everything else. Right?
So I'll talk about this. The Cell, and just the Android Saga in general, it made us ask the question: why do you fight? Like that Android 16 monologue to Gohan. Why do you fight? Vegeta fights to be the best, right? Goku fights simply for the love of martial arts. Gohan fights because he really doesn't want to fight. You know what I'm saying? Just to protect the people that he loves. And I think that that's real in life. Like, we do that all the time.
And that's what helped move the plot along, was everybody had their different agendas. You got Vegeta letting Cell absorb 18 and 17 so that he can get his master form just to fight him at full strength.
And we don't be like that. Yeah. Go get your boyfriend. Yo, call who you want to call. What's up? I'll be right here.
You know? It's too many iconic moments. Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Even like the other stuff, like Trunks getting blasted. Vegeta thinking like that's it. Like,
Vegeta's moments are by far the most dramatic.
I just think that a lot of highlights of the Android Saga is like real good plot, and I feel that the iconic moments that people say they love DBZ for, the action, the powering up, all that stuff, that is the best for me in the Android Saga.
Even in Goku losing to Cell, there's something to be said. It's important that Goku had to lose that fight, because Goku never loses a fight. Can we relate to him? We take L's. We taking L's every single day, right? So it's important to see the hero of your life take that L, learn that lesson, and become stronger. Because that's the only way you get better. Toriyama could have made it where Goku once again saves us all. No, because that's unrealistic in life.
But yeah, y'all, that's pretty much our breakdown of our top 3 arcs. The only arc we really kind of differed on was the bottom 3, but at our number 1 we have the Android Saga, Blue Saga number 2, and then Justin had Tournament of Power. I had the Frieza Saga. So yeah, I appreciate that, Mr. Newell coming on the show. Y'all go ahead and drop him down a follow.
Just for thought.
Just for thought, tagging me there. And yeah, we'll see y'all next Sunday.